Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Slice of Gaming podcast. First episode, at least official episode of the new year, episode 80 for January 12th, 2025. I'm joined today by my Nintendo crew, Bench.
Hello, I am here to Nintendo all over Nintendo.
What? You're gonna Nintendo all over us?
Yes.
All right, cool. Jat.
I'm excited. Switch 2 is happening. It's real, guys.
Jat, you gonna Nintendo all over me as well?
Yep, I'm gonna do what Ben's Nintendo.
Okay. Moon, please don't Nintendo all over me.
So I'm here to bring balance. So you got all these Nintendo fanboys here. I'm the Nintendo skeptic.
Hey. I'm not a fanboy. I am a legit calm, cooling force here. Okay.
All right, let me just show you a picture of some Pikmin and see if that holds up.
Oh, dude, show me some Pikmin, man. Holy shit. Welcome. Shout out to Pikmin.
Yeah, a calm cooling force. Then they'll show a 3D Mario, and you'll see the calm cooling.
Yeah. And then it's just like, you know what, guys? I'm thinking this is the best company ever made. We got a big episode today. We got kind of going over a lot of the headlines that happened over the holiday break, which most of them kind of came in from the last week, which is funny. Also, we're going to do our Nintendo predictions for 2025, and we're going to do it for PlayStation. We're going to do it for Xbox as well in the coming weeks. Very exciting times. I like Jess said, Switch 2 is this year, so we really want to make sure we do Nintendo first before they decide to reveal it. Very possible they reveal it the next day and our episode is immediately obsolete. So God bless you, Nintendo. But if you want to find us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your favorite podcasts are found. Like the podcast, any type of support helps us, and follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at A Slice of Gaming. But I think we're ready to move right into this. I have the first bullet point here, the Nintendo Switch 2 leak saga. So have you guys been keeping up with everything in regards to this myriad of stories?
There's too many.
It felt like there was a new headline, I swear to God, at one point every 2 or 3 hours. So the Nintendo Switch 2 leaked, no joke, starting late December, when we went on our holiday break, all the way to now. We were still getting Switch 2 leaked images. And a company in particular showed the Switch 2 at CES. Now, I want to go over, first and foremost, there were other accessory manufacturing leaks throughout all of December. We don't need to go over all that because we got pretty much the biggest one here in regards to what Wesley Inpol from IGN right here. Nintendo Switch 2 mock-up spotted at CES, accessory makers alleged release month, and more. Mock-up of the Switch 2 has appeared at CES this week, and the company behind it insists it's based on the real thing. Gaming accessory maker Genki is showing off its Switch 2 mock-up to press at the Consumer Electronics Show, and based on a report from French publication Numerama, it has plenty to say about Nintendo's unannounced next-gen console. According to Numerama, Genki said the Switch 2 launched according to Numerama, Genki said the Nintendo Switch 2 launches in April and that its mock-up, which you can see in the images in this article, is based on a real Switch 2. Genki also claimed the rumored optical sensor on the Joy-Con is indeed a new feature for the console, but does not know what the mysterious C button on the right side of the Joy-Con is for. And there's a lot more images. There's a full-on rendered video as if they were showing this off to press at a press event or something. I don't know. I'll just ask right off the bat, if this is the Switch 2, which we'll get into that in a bit, what do you guys think of how this thing looks?
Yeah,
Looks
honestly,
good.
yeah, it looks like how you expect. It's just the same Switch with a few extra things, right? Like a new C button. Screen might be a little bit different, but yeah, ultimately, yeah, it's just another Switch, and a lot bigger.
I mean, but it is thinner than maybe I thought it would be. I thought it'd be Steam Deck bulky, and I'm glad that it's not. Also,
Yeah.
I know from the Joy-Cons, this could be something that's not true for the final, but I'm not a big fan of the red and blue undertone on under the. I'm not a big fan of that, or the undertone between the sticks and the when you take the Joy-Cons off. If I had a choice,
right there.
if I had a choice, it'd be either get just black or white Joy-Cons. Not a huge fan of that.
Because I'm super into them. Now, granted, I don't think that's going to be on all models. I wonder if this is a thing that, like, these are the Joy-Cons Genki specifically 3D printed, and that's why they kind of look like that. But I, at the end of the day, you don't fully know until you actually see it. But it is, at the end of the day, a bigger Switch, a Switch 2. And also, officially called the Switch 2. We're not surprised by that, right?
No.
Switch branding has too much power now. Like, they can't abandon it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, you can definitely see the less risk Nintendo is taking since Furukawa was here. Like, I know, like, you know, I wanna, at the time he was in power, like, like, he was a very, you know, fun CEO and took some crazy risks.
Mm-hmm.
But Furukawa was like, yeah, Switch is working. We're not risking anything. Switch.
He's very conservative.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and if it works for PlayStation, it'll just work for Nintendo as well.
Well, Nintendo had something to say about all this. This is the funniest thing. It all happened during the weekend. So Genki, not our Genki, the Twitter guy Genki, not the accessory manufacturer Genki. Nintendo tells Japanese newspaper the Senkai Shimbun the images and videos from CES are not official. Regarding the images and videos, they are not official. So that's Nintendo's official statement. Obviously, they were going to say it's not official. But then this comes out, like, I think like an hour or two after that came out. This is Catherine Lewis over at Games Radar. Company behind viral Switch 2 mockup backtracks, says its cover accessory was based on leaks as Nintendo wades in to clarify CES images are not official. Earlier this week, it looks like we may have gotten a first glimpse of what the Nintendo Switch 2 might look like, thanks to mock-ups produced by accessory maker Genki. In an interview with Japanese outlet GameSpark, highlighted and translated by Automaton, a Genki representative reportedly admitted that the Switch 2 cover accessory that the company had on display, not the mock-up, was created based on leaks and its size isn't final. What's more, the person interviewed apparently said they'd not seen the real console. This seriously brings into question the legitimacy of the viral mock-ups. How would the company be able to mold these after the actual console, but apparently have to create a cover for it based on these leaks instead? And also, one last thing. This is just a rumor from a French journalist, Julien Teluk, Stealth40K put this on Twitter. Nintendo's lawyers/ninjas confronted Genki in Vegas. Nintendo shortly came to their CES booth with lawyers, asking them what's up, and Genki responded that they did nothing wrong, never signed an NDA. But Nintendo is on the case. They're probably trying to sue them. What a fucking saga. Basically, Genki is now apparently lying, and it's like, well, we didn't actually get the Switch 2. This isn't what it is. This is just a mock-up. And then Nintendo apparently sending it their hitman. I don't even know what this whole thing. What I do know is Nintendo, just reveal the damn thing. Just post a trailer on YouTube. It's getting ridiculous.
I mean, I think there were a couple, I think the screen bezel on that mock-up, I think it's bigger than what we heard. Yeah. I thought we heard, the bezel was supposed to be, Switch OLED size, if not smaller, which is hardly noticeable because it'll have even bigger screen, and I kind of noticed that wasn't the case in the mock-ups. But yeah, even that, they're kind of backtracking, which makes me think that while parts of it could be true, it might be something Genki 3D modeled themselves. Not a 3D model asset they were given.
Yeah, it was funny. I didn't mention it. They apparently said at one point they got Switch 2s from the black market, or you can find them on the black market if you pay enough. That kind of just sounds like BS to me, though. I don't imagine that's true, but
yeah, it's just gonna be these mock-ups that actually don't do anything.
Exactly. I will say, I'll ask this: do you guys think we'll get any more leaks, or will we at the very least get the actual console reveal done with?
I've been saying this for a bit, but I think they are holding off at least until Donkey Kong comes out, which is this week.
Yeah, this Thursday.
I know there's that one rumor. I know you're probably going to get to it, but there's a rumor saying it's the day after Donkey Kong is supposedly the trailer.
Yeah, so the issue with that rumor, it came from this guy. He leaked the PS5 Pro. The problem with that rumor that immediately caught me on, oh yeah, this is fake, is he said the price would be cheaper than the original Switches.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. So it's yeah, no, I don't believe that. Maybe the date's right, but the price is 100% wrong.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I also don't think we'd get a price.
Right. Yeah, you think it's until the big presentation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, like the April timeframe kind of makes sense from what everyone's saying. Like that's what I also believe. But also, I mean, I just think that. Oh, what was I gonna say? You have to
I guess.
come.
Yeah, I'll come back to you. Jad, what do you kind of think of this whole like leak saga? Like, what's your kind of like? What do you think Nintendo's strategy? Do you think they're just steadfast, like they don't care, they're just going to reveal it the same day they were always going to reveal it?
So I think that based on these leaks we've seen, there was definitely some sort of plans to reveal it like late last year, just because there were like a bunch of leaks that from like accessory manufacturers that just had these plans. And I mean, none of them were as ballsy enough to leak it as as Genki, because no one wants to, like cut that relationship with Nintendo. But I think that it's gonna be a matter of time. Like I think they probably shifted for production issues or whatever reason it may be. I think now they're ready to this week, and then I think by April we'd see the Switch 2, because if it's by March, then they'd have to launch it with like Xenoblade X as their launch title. But yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I think Metroid Prime 4 is more likely.
It'd look weird if they revealed like, hey, it's coming out like the same week as the Switch 1 title.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also like I think nothing leaks because it gets announced this week. I think it's this week. I don't think it's like the Friday date because Nintendo never announces things on a Friday. And I also don't really see them waiting for Donkey Kong because it's a remaster. I don't think you really need. I think they're more so waiting to get out of this holiday time window. So I could see it this week for sure.
I mean, there's just so many different like ways we can pull at this string. We are going to talk a lot more about it when we get to our topic, but Nintendo, man, they are a very weird company. That's something that like you learn. I've been following them for almost my whole life, and it's like, God, I can never understand the decision making sometimes.
Yeah. Like after the SNES Classic came out years ago, everyone's like, "Oh, the N64 Classic." Nintendo's like, "No,
no, insane to me." Moving on to the realm of Xbox, an Xbox Developer Direct has been announced for January 23rd at 10 a.m. PT. I didn't read the time. Why is it so early in the morning? Wait, PT. That's Pacific.
Oh, yeah, it'll be noon for us.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
Yeah.
So the games revealed will be South of Midnight, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, something I don't think we expected. Doom: The Dark Ages.
Let's fucking go.
Visit a surprise location to see another studio's brand new game. So a lot of Xbox people have been talking about this thing. Obviously, we're going to get the Developer Direct. They've been doing this now 2 years. This is going to be the third year. And, I mean, this seems like a pretty strong lineup. What are you guys' like immediate expectations going into this thing?
I was going into this thinking we were going to get the Oblivion remake announced here. And I still think it's possible, but it says visit a surprise location to see another studio's brand new game. But I don't think that means Oblivion. Because, I mean, brand new game and surprise location, like, I guess that could be Bethesda, but
Singapore is kind of surprising because that's where Virtuos is.
A brand new location takes me off guard. But also, I think there could still be a fifth game like we've had in the last 2 years, and there could be two surprises. But I'm not sure what that visit a surprise new location is, because brand new game immediately throws me off of it being Oblivion when I really want it to be.
What's honestly the most interesting to me is this is going to be the first Developer Direct where I might be wrong about this. This is the first Developer Direct where like one of the big deep dives is a third-party game. Outside of like a surprise title, like last year with Secrets of Mana or Visions of Mana.
Visions.
Yeah, what he's telling me is Xbox have once in a while, at least like once a year now. Like last year was Persona, now it's gonna be this. Like they have this one third-party game that they're pretty much treating like their own because it's day one on Game Pass. They have like a good relationship with the studio, so they're basically just treating it like their own, which is cool to see. Like especially a smaller studio like I don't know the company's name that's making Sandfall. Yeah, so that's just how I see it. Plus, like others have said, this feels like the lineup feels like a bunch of games that they want to put attention on because these are all coming out before their June showcase.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah,
Wolf,
I
okay.
imagine that's the case because what's it called? June Showcase is probably where we get Fable deep dive, or maybe it's a Call of Duty deep dive again. I don't know. What were you gonna say, Ben?
So nowadays, people are treating remakes as new games. I'm kind of talking myself into oblivion here. Could they just be saying
Live
brand
on
new
air.
game? Could they just be saying like brand new game, but like being a remake?
I think you're putting too much like credence on the brand new game thing. I think that could really just be like whatever a brand new title is, something that's unannounced.
Yeah.
I don't think
literally
remakes
because
matter.
outside of leaks, this game technically doesn't exist. So to a Xbox marketing standpoint, it is announcing a brand new game because we should not know about this Oblivion remake.
Yeah.
But I will say the thing that gets sorry, go ahead, Jen.
We can all agree that this surprise is a first party game. Well, like a first party IP.
I could see like a Squeenix
I could
or a
see
Capcom.
An Expedition 33 like kind of surprise, like, okay, here's this game you know about. Oh, and actually no, they say new game, so it's gonna be this new game. It's from a third party and it's day one on Game Pass, so that's why it's a big surprise and that's why it's here.
I think the fact is though, Bench, is I did think it was Oblivion, and then like almost every insider was like it's not Oblivion. So it's like, oh, okay, well, damn. Thanks for ruining my excitement.
One thing that would
go ahead, Jet.
One thing that would like be totally surprising to me, it's like is if they go to Square Enix's office and reveal something like, I don't know, FF9 and then and I guess that'll be an interesting one because of how much Microsoft has been making deals with like Atlas, Square Enix for more JRPGs on Xbox and Game Pass.
My only thing with something like that is Nate the Hate, who is a very credible insider, is pretty much just said flat out, it's like, oh yeah, 9 and Tactics are not this year. Which is just like, damn. How long have you two? How long have they been working on those games? I feel like they've been rumored since like 2021.
And Wolf, could Doom: The Dark Ages be on Switch 2 day one?
Unironically, I mean, Doom Eternal tried to hit that. Doom 2016 famously was a port to Switch 1. Switch 2 has a lot more power, RAM, everything they need. I could see it like maybe as a launch title for Switch 2 or whenever it does come out. It's put on there.
Because assuming the Switch 2 is announced at this point, they can say, hey, the game's coming here, and their big showcase of
it. That would be fucked up if it's not announced and they say, like, oh, it's coming to Xbox, PS5, and another platform.
Yeah.
But I could see them basically announce it, like, oh, it's also coming to Switch 2. I just want to see that damn Switch 2 just so that these developers could start announcing their games for it. Because I feel like we saw that with Yuka Replay last year where they said, oh, yeah, coming to other platforms. It's like, we know what the other platforms are, but they can't say it because Nintendo is insane. But I don't know. My expectations for this Direct is I am very, very excited to see more of Doom. And I'm very interested to see what the surprise game is. Those are kind of my two like standouts. But the fact is, Claire Obscura Expedition 33. I'm surprised that it's going to be like one of the big highlights, and I'm very excited for the people who are very excited for that game. Number one Soggy most anticipated, apparently. So
hell yeah.
I remember when Fusion realized what it was, and he was just sitting there like, "Oh my god, Wolf." Remember, we're with the JRPG crew. Like, I respect it. I respect the hustle, honestly. We also got some, speaking of Nate the Hate, some more news regarding like other Xbox games coming over, or games coming to Xbox and Xbox games coming over to other platforms. Rumors say Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to Xbox in 2025 as more Xbox games head to PS5 and Nintendo. Speaking on his podcast, Nate the Hate shared new rumors on Xbox's future plans, and we can corroborate at least some of them with our own sources. This is Jez Corden over at Windows Central. Today, credible tipster Nate the Hate shared some rumors for games we can expect to see hit PlayStation 5 and the unannounced Switch 2 later this year. For Xbox fans, Nate the Hate suggested that FF7 Remake is hitting Xbox in 2025, with Rebirth aiming for 2026. According to Mr. Hate, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and Halo the Master Chief Collection are both slated for the multi-platform treatment, with each game launching on PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch 2. I can corroborate independently with our own sources that all of the above is most likely true. It seems that Microsoft isn't stopping there. Sorry. To that end, I've heard that in addition to the above, Hellblade 2, Age of Mythology, and potentially Gears of War 1 Ultimate Edition are also all slated for PlayStation 5 this year too. Although I'm unsure if that includes the Nintendo Switch too. So regarding the games being ported, I'm not surprised at all that like Phil Spencer outright said no red lines. So it's just like, yeah, no red lines. Like something like even a Halo will come to other platforms. Though I am very excited to see. Not even just excited, like very intrigued by the prospect of like Halo on a PlayStation and a Nintendo platform, where it's like, oh man, that is like a weird like future we live in right now. But it's the future we're in. Most of these headlines just don't surprise me at all anymore. I am very interested. Seems like finally FF7 remake is coming to Xbox. It feels like that took way longer than I would have expected. Especially because the PC version was 2021. So it's like 4 years later.
If I had to guess, it was just due to the change of leadership over at Square that they finally put that into motion.
No, that's true. I mean, anything you guys like want to like pick at here is Microsoft Flight Simulator. I saw some people confused about that. I was like, how's that going to run on Switch too? But it's like, it's cloud based. I actually can very much see them making it able to run. It seems like Microsoft's going to be a big partner for Nintendo here coming into this generation.
Agreed.
Yeah, it started with Minecraft with that whole video where they basically announced their partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if this is if this is how we're gonna get a new Banjo, I'm in for Microsoft to be a big publisher for Nintendo.
Yeah. I listen, if that can come out, I'd be so ready. I am intrigued. I feel like the numbers for Halo on PS5 and Switch are going to be massive, like way bigger than we were like predicting. Because it's just like the novelty of like, it's like if Mario was on PlayStation. It's like, what the fuck? Like I gotta check it out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much everything from the world of Xbox. They've had a busy week, and finally, to round out the big publishers, Sony announced movies, not games. But hey, you know what? that's the expectations out of them. Radic kind of did a roundup of Sony's CES presentation, which, Bench, did you watch that live?
I did.
You watched 50 minutes of them bringing out a car on stage. I respect that. That's hustle.
Well, no, I watched like 30 of it. But I was there when the PlayStation production stuff in the car came out.
Oh, okay. As long as you were there with the car.
Yeah.
Radic has this huge PlayStation Productions announcements tonight at CES. Ghost of Tsushima Legends anime announced for 2027. Helldivers movies in the work. Horizon Zero Dawn will now be a live-action film instead of a TV series. Last of Us Season 2 releases April, and Until Dawn movie releases this April. Will be in the same universe as the games. So a lot of threads to pick out. Which one do you guys want to start with?
Well, I just think Ghost of Tsushima anime is super smart. Especially who they have directing it. I think it's going to be pretty good and take over as anime continues to get bigger and utilizing those partnerships.
I mean, yeah, they literally own Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Like you have to utilize that. Yeah, the Ghost of Tsushima, I love how it's Legends specifically. So it's like the kind of the multiplayer like mode with how, and you were fighting like yokais and demons and stuff. It's like, okay, so it's going to be a lot more fantastical, which I'm really into. Helldivers movie is so funny considering that movie that game is just Starship Troopers. So now it's like gonna be Starship Troopers the game, the movie, which I'm so into.
Yeah, I agree. That's just smart. I think you're gonna get a lot of people out for that. And I mean, if you just nail the vibe, it doesn't need a deep story or anything. It just got to be a goofy, fun movie to go watch with friends.
It also feels like one of those things where it's like when the game came out and it did 15 million units, they were like, "Oh God, greenlight this immediately. We got to make sure we like stick behind this." And also Horizon. Thank God they're going for movies instead of TV. I feel like a TV budget, maybe they could have made it work. TV budgets have gone bigger, but like, I mean, let's be real. Like you guys know, like movie budgets are substantially bigger, and like something like Horizon, where you're fighting robot dinosaurs, you want to have as big of a budget for that as possible.
I just don't think also like the story of Horizon is good enough for TV, even if it is only like 6 episodes. Like you can probably condense that easier to a movie.
100%. Yeah,
I agree.
And then Last of Us.
The Last of Us, it makes sense in TV. Like Horizon, there's story, but also like you have that open world stuff in between, which I mean you'd have to find a way to fill that into like a 6 to 8 episode TV series. And I don't think that'd go over well.
Yeah, I just think a movie like way better fits like what the Horizon aesthetic is going for. And then Last of Us and Until Dawn both in April. Is this our first year in Last of Us's date?
I think so.
Yeah. We knew it. We knew it was. Yeah, we knew it was. I think like first half, but I don't think we knew when.
But April.
Yeah, and that's when the PC port's also launching. So they're intentionally doing that together.
Yeah,
that's true. They love that synergy over there. I mean, yeah, Last of Us. Was the trailer any good, Bench? Did you watch that?
I watched it. It started with like the iconic like hospital things that a certain character finds a related person. But I mean, I thought, yeah, it's gonna be good. I think like I really enjoyed the first season, so I'm pretty hyped for the second.
They just said they're doing the first half of the game, right?
I think,
or they're splitting it.
It's gonna be part 2 will be 2 seasons, but they have cast and filmed stuff with Abby. So it could be like a mix of the two, like instead of like the cutoff and then switch, maybe there's some kind of back and forth. I'm not sure, but I'm sure they'll make smart decisions. First season was great.
Very excited.
Yeah, now that I've just beat the game, I'm definitely gonna watch season 1, go through it, and then be ready for season 2, where I'm gonna do the same thing, where I play the game and then watch the show.
Moving into our next, before actually, real quick, PlayStation Productions, they are expanding this way more than I think I was expecting. Like, it feels like they keep greenlighting like 12 things. Is this a case where like they're just greenlighting for the sake of greenlighting, or like do you guys have like full confidence like each one of these comes out and like many more to come, like whatever else they announce going forward?
Yeah, and I think Last of Us is going to be like 3 or 4 seasons long, so they'll have that. I'm sure Intergalactic is going to get something. I think that could be cooler in a movie just with the vibe, but I think they'll continue to do stuff like this. I mean, as much as we clowned on Gran Turismo, I know people that liked that movie who had no relation to the franchise. So whatever they're doing is obviously working.
Man, Gran Turismo was such a funny choice for a movie, though.
Like, and then Horizon, yeah, and then Uncharted made so much money in the box.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And yeah, they confirmed a sequel, so yeah, they're sticking with that. And I believe it was in like Fortnite where they had the Tom Holland skin.
Oh yeah, no, don't remind me. Moving into our next story, Ubisoft, guys,
oh, of course.
Winter break happened, and you know what happened? Ubisoft happened. They're still there. Ubisoft has delayed Assassin's Creed Shadow to March 20th. They kind of put up this whole strategic update. There is one line in particular that really stood out to me, but while I find that, you guys go ahead and could we try to figure out, like, is this game going to launch well? Like, what's the kind of, are we worried about it? Like, what's kind of the temperature check around this bad boy?
I mean, it just keeps getting lower, and I'm the Japan guy. And I just, the more Shadows gets delayed, the more I'm like, I can wait for a sale at the end of next year or in the middle. Like, there's just going to be more things, like, it comes out at the same day as Xenoblade Chronicles X. And I'm much more interested in that, and Xenoblade is probably like 3 times as long as Shadows. So it's going to take even longer. So it's like, there's no hype around Shadows for me. Even if it scores well, it's like, well, I don't know, you're pushing it to games I care about more when you were originally that November pocket was probably pretty good for you, and obviously you felt like you had to delay it. And then already February was swamped, but they got that week was probably the best week they could have launched it in February. And I just imagine that March is going to continue to fill up. It wouldn't shock me if like Claire Obscura or one of the games from the Xbox show is in March. I think they're gonna have, so that's another game that's, any of those games in the Xbox show will be bigger than Assassin's Creed in terms of quality. So it just keeps getting like less and less interesting to me. At least day one.
And that's the unfortunate thing, is that because this game is like basically make it or break it for Ubisoft, right? Like after flop for them, so they're banking everything on this, and that's why they're doing these constant delays. And well, my worry is, having played a bit of Valhalla, Odyssey, and then also Mirage, where they don't evolve these games. Like, even going from Odyssey to Valhalla. Valhalla was way longer, but also pretty bloated. Like I was glad they at least decreased the map a little bit, but man, it's like a 100-hour game.
They're
I don't
safe.
want that.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. It's like they are so safe with these games that they release every year that they're like, oh, we need to make sure, what's it called? People like this, so we need to make sure that like it's as the same as always. It's like, well, the fact is like nobody cares anymore if you keep releasing the same slop every 2 or 3 years. Even if it's like, oh, it's the same Assassin's Creed you know and love. It's like, yeah, but people are going to get tired of it because you keep releasing these 100-hour expansions alongside them. And it's like, you're doing too much. You're bloating the market. It's ridiculous. And also, I found the quote. This is one of the worst sentences I've ever read in my life. So I'm going to subject you guys to reading it as well. Yves Guillemot. We also recently appointed leading advisors and are actively exploring various strategic and capitalistic options to unlock the full value potential of our assets. We are convinced that there are several potential paths to generate value from Ubisoft's assets and franchises. I hate that sentence so much. But basically, I read that as we're looking to get bought. And it's pretty clear that even if this game does well, which I mean, we can get into like if we think it's going to do well, I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think they're already basically looking to be sold to maybe like a Tencent.
Yeah, and I think, this is probably going to be the story of the year if this game hits or doesn't hit, in terms of the consequences, especially if it doesn't hit. Because if it hits, then they're just going to continue with the Assassin's Creed slop until, I guess, eventually it doesn't. But I still think that could carry them for a lot longer. But if it doesn't hit, I think like within the first month or two of it not hitting, there's going to be some drastic layoffs, changes, maybe a buyout. It'll be a massive story either way.
See, my thing is, I think the buyout happens regardless.
I think it gets scaled down regardless, but I think if Assassin's Creed sells 15 million copies, then maybe they can just get more buy some time. But like if it doesn't, then things are going to be moving very fast.
Yeah, and I think one thing I'm worried about is like because Assassin's Creed is like Ubisoft's like pillar franchise. I'm thinking what they're gonna do with the next like Far Cry, for example, because I'm sure that one's in development. And then maybe Watch Dogs, also another pretty big franchise for them. If those are like, if Assassin's Creed flops, are they even gonna, still bother continuing with those games that they've spent so much money on that now they might be a bit hesitant?
The problem is they're just so far gone at this point. They kind of need to find some other moneymaker if this Assassin's Creed doesn't work. It's like, okay, I guess maybe we like shift the resources over to Far Cry. And it's like, they're not doing the problem with Ubisoft. They're not doing new things. They're not trying new ideas. And like, actually, whenever they do something new and like go with the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, they say, well, you guys didn't sell enough, so we're going to shut you guys down as well. It's like, well, you can't. You need to let these new ideas fester and grow. Assassin's Creed didn't become the big thing it was because of Assassin's Creed 1. It became as big as it was because of Assassin's Creed 2. You got to at least get them to the second game because we're cutting them off too quickly, man.
Yeah, it's the same with Far Cry. Far Cry 3 was the biggest one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very curious to see what happens to Ubisoft. I think they are going to be having a very rough year. Same as last year. Moving into... Oh, well, actually, that's it. That's all for the news. I think we're ready to move right into... There were no reviews this week because we're still in that early January where no games are really coming out. But we have a topic, and it's all about Nintendo. As we alluded to earlier, I have a topic relating to the Nintendo 2025 predictions. But before we get into that, I do want to reflect on Nintendo's 2024. I want to get like everyone's temperature check, what you guys would rate it out of a 10. I feel like, to me personally, like I'll start off, I thought it was a pretty weak year, but also not a surprising thing, considering that the Switch 2 got delayed out of the year. So they were kind of working with quote unquote scraps, but like still like quality titles. You had Paper Mario, you had Zelda. I was like, I remember the name of that game, Echoes of Wisdom, and I know Mario and Luigi hit for a lot of people. Mario Party was awesome, but it very much felt like hey, here's some like games to like keep you guys going up until the Switch 2 comes out next year, where we're gonna start releasing the heavy hitters. So if I had to rate them, probably like a 5 out of 10, give or take. Bench, how about you?
Yeah, I'd agree. Probably 5 or 6 out of 10, maybe 6, just because Zelda hit for me more than it did like for you. But I mean, it's easily like the least I've used my Switch in a year. Like I've hit 100 plus hours and way more than that pretty consistently throughout the Switch's life, and I don't think I hit 100 hours on my Switch this year. Probably not even like 80 or 90. It's just there just wasn't a lot of game time on the Switch for a variety of reasons. Lack of games. I mean, I'm at the point where like I just don't play third-party games on Switch because why should I? So it's just a lot of kind of just so year. But I mean, like the games that they released, Paper Mario and Echoes of Wisdom, were really good. Never really went back to Brothership, even though I want to.
Damn, that was your game. What happened? You weren't into it?
It's just. It's not that I'm not into it. It's just it's so slow.
I hear.
I think it's like it really drags a bit, but I mean, I still like it. It's a game I'll beat one day. It's just, I mean, it's like 40 or 50 hours, and I was like 15 hours in. So it's like there's other games like Dragon Age that I want to get to more than I want to get to Brothership. So
fair.
That's
yeah.
Jack, how about you?
Yeah. So for me, actually, I'm a bit higher on this. I'd say probably a 7.5 and 8. And even though it was only really like 2 or 3 games actually that had plus Brothership, of which I'm also in the same boat as Bench, where I want to go back to it at some point. But yeah, it's a very slow and long game. But the games that hit for me were Emio and Thousand Year Door, because man, I enjoy both of those a ton. And it's not by any means they're like best year. It's a bit far from it, but yeah, I think that the RPGs they were releasing is pretty good for a year before their new console. Like I'm glad they didn't leave it fully dry. You know, like they still had a few things going, and there's even more now with Donkey Kong, Xenoblade, and that Fire Emblem game that God knows when they're releasing.
So much ridiculous amount of stuff coming out. Moon, how about you?
I have 2 different scores for it. As objectively, just looking at the games, I'll agree at like a 5, 6. I forgot about Emio, so maybe 6. Like I applaud them for keeping franchises like that alive, as well as giving Peach her own game, even though it didn't pan out to how people wanted. So objectively, I'll give it like a 5. But personally, it's like a 1. It just wasn't games that I was really into. I do want to get to Emio at some point, but it didn't like immediately grab me. But yeah, it just and the only game I played was Princess Peach, and that was just.
Oh come on, man! That's at least a 2.
It had some neat ideas, but as people say, it's kind of like a glorified tech demo of just a bunch of random ideas. So maybe they can learn and build upon it and do something cooler with a Showtime 2. I'd be into that, but. As the game stands as its own, it wasn't worth it. Like even my own Nintendo wrap up literally was 2 hours of time on Switch, and that was because I guess it cut off like right before I finished my playthrough of Princess Peach at Thanksgiving. So it looks like I only played 2 hours, and then there was like the 5 hours to beat the game after that. But
it's like, come on, that's at least 8 hours. Come on, Nintendo. I will say with Princess Peach specifically, a lot of what I heard was I am not the target audience for this game. And it's like, which is frustrating because like usually Nintendo games are at least like, oh, everyone can enjoy this. But Princess Peach is, this is little girls, like, kids,
little
basically.
Kids, yeah. This is supposed to be like your kid's like first game into that's
which
not
is
a
good.
Platformer.
It's good for kids to have those type of experiences, but I just feel like you can make those and also have them be fun for the adults, which Nintendo have proven that they can do.
Like even look at like Paper Mario or Zelda, kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. But let's move into the 2025 predictions. Now, I had an idea. You guys can roast me if you want. I like the idea of maybe going month by month. Basically, what we think Nintendo's going to be doing, saying, thinking during each month of the year. As we go into 2025, because I think there is just so many threads we could poke at that's like I want to try to organize it in some way. So I guess
I have one overall prediction for Nintendo is that I think 3 of their games this year will score over a 90.
Oh, 3. I mean, we'll get into what you think those games are, but I think 2.
That's
I feel
bold.
like 3 is a bit much.
Honestly, I think I'm
depends on what's
lowballing it with 3. I could think of 4 that are very much in that ballpark.
Well, hey, I mean, I'm very ready to get into what you think those 4 are. I mean, let's start off with January. Do we all agree this is the month they actually revealed this damn thing?
Donkey Kong 90 plus on Metacritic. Let's go.
Oh my god, you're right. I didn't even think about Donkey Kong Country HD.
No, but
real quick on that game, that is a bad looking remaster. It looks like the most bare bones shit I've ever seen. They barely added anything, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna be buying it day one, but still.
yeah, I played it on 3DS. Yeah, it was fine on there too. Like it's just the same game. There's
It's a
no
great
new
game,
level.
but it's the same one. But yeah, Donkey Kong, obviously that's coming out. Anyway, Switch 2, we do think it's going to be revealed this month. And I think my main reason is because their investor meeting is around like February 2nd or so. So it's like I feel like they want to try to get this thing revealed before January ends, so they have something for the investor meeting to go, hey, here's like more information about this console that we can like fully say now.
yeah, I agree. I think it gets revealed this month, if not next week. Well, this week.
Yeah, this week. So the 13th to the 17th. I mean, honestly, okay, listen, I might be wrong. Put it on the money. January 14th. I'm feeling it.
I'll go the 15th.
When does Donkey Kong come out again?
16th.
16th.
Nah, I'm gonna say like the 20th then.
20th.
Ooh.
So next Monday. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you said, Nintendo doesn't want to do anything right before the weekend. They want
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they don't want to have it overshadow Donkey Kong. They want to get as many sales as they can out of that. So they don't want it to
Pretty sure the 20th is a national holiday, so it could possibly be that.
So okay, maybe the day after that then.
It's so funny, man. Donkey Kong is the thing that's holding back the Nintendo Switch 2. Jed, do you have a prediction?
So I'm thinking the 20th, or I'm thinking 20th, 21st as well. Although I'm going back and forth because I could see it this week too, like where like Donkey Kong is one I'm sure they want to focus on, and I think that game. I have a theory that this game is also going to get people to go to the new Universal Park in May.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So yeah. You know what? Not I'm leaning towards 21st. I think they made a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the 20th a holiday?
I think you're thinking of Inauguration Day, Bench.
No, the 20th is MLK Junior Day.
Oh.
Which is also Inauguration Day.
I was about to say, does Nintendo care about MLK?
No, that's an American holiday. They don't care about American holidays.
Well, NOA wouldn't be at work then. No, because Nintendo of America is not at work that day.
But
get off work.
Hand studios can still just set it up to have it launch.
They won't do that though.
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing is like even if it is like an American holiday, like they still like they want to make sure that they can cooperate with Nintendo of America and they have people at the ready over there.
Yeah,
they have plans for this
first then.
All right, so Jat and Moon 21st and me and Bench 14th, 15th, respectively. I'll ask this like trailer. Do we think this is like kind of like a full on like presentation, like a direct style thing, or is this just like a quick like 3-minute like, hey, here's the Switch 2, here's what's on it?
It's gonna be like that initial Switch reveal with about October, where it's just like. Granted, I mean, it's hard to say because that trailer was all about showing off. Here's a console that can be both handheld and docked into be a home console. They don't have to do that anymore because it's just the same gimmick. So, maybe not because they don't have like a gimmick to show. Unless they have a brand new gimmick, they want to show off that mouse function or something. Unless they got like another gimmick up their sleeve that we don't know about. Then maybe it is kind of more a slight presentation. Like, here's the upgrade in tech. Here's how all your games will look better. And here's a quick sneak peek at a couple games that are brand new and stuff like that.
I mean, I think it's definitely a 3-minute trailer. And then but that day also will open the floodgates for developers. And maybe even they can show footage of games running on it. I think they might loosen up a bit there. But I don't think Nintendo will show, like, footage. But I could see devs show, like, dev trailers and stuff of games running on the platform, and that'll kind of be our hype until 2 months later when the Nintendo fully reveals it and their next 8 months of games.
I mean, Bench, you were talking about this before, but you kind of feel that like a lot of the changes for Switch 2 is going to be much more on the software front rather than the hardware front. What do you?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we can. I mean, let's get into it now. Just talk about like the Switch 2 in general, about the console. What software based changes could you see? I have one prediction that it's more of a hopium than it's a genuine thing.
I think more of a social hub. I think it's definitely
that's
possible.
My thing.
And I think just
Miiverse is back.
I mean, I think there's just going to be a lot more going on, especially in that UI and eShop. I don't think it's going to be the pretty basic thing it has been throughout the Switch. I think there's just going to be a lot more going on, a lot more like fun to look at, things going on. Maybe that's hope, but also I think that's an easy way to like make the Switch 2 distinct, especially when you first turn it on, is make that opening menu and all the settings, the news section, the eShop, just complete personality. Because that's kind of what PlayStation did as well with the PS5, and that worked. So I think we see a lot of like software stuff, especially with like DLSS. Not even talking about game performance software stuff. Like that's also a lot of the stuff we'll see.
Make sure the Switch eShop doesn't lag when I try to look at games there, which is just insane to me that a shop lags. But okay,
yeah.
And also themes. Come on, give me themes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they had them in the 3DS. Bring them back on Switch.
For the love of God.
Yeah,
I think it's possible, but I don't think. I think it's more like just presentation stuff is going to look good. Like you're not going to just have the cubes on the home screen. That's where you kind of look, and how you just look at all of them. You got to scroll through it. It's going to be a lot better looking.
It may be similar more to the Wii U style interface of like just more stuff going on. Like maybe you see your characters like in a big plaza. I would love like a Street Pass equivalent, like what we had on 3DS. Just like, hey, if I pass by someone with a Switch with my Switch, you get like little Street Pass games, puzzle pieces, little goofy things like that, just to add more personality. Because the problem with the Switch is that so much of it was kind of hindered by its lack of RAM. So they were like, well, we want to make sure like the main menu and everything doesn't lag or stutter or anything. So they were very clear about like just making it as bland as possible. And now that I think this thing is going to be a lot stronger, they've had a lot more experience with this hardware. I think now they can really make this thing pop.
Yeah, and it needs to be like a way that it just doesn't look like the Switch 1, because you don't want anything to look like the Switch 1 on the Switch 2.
Moving into, I guess we could just move right into February, unless you guys have any more predictions about the console itself, thinking like what more could it be? Yeah, Jack, go ahead.
So I was thinking about, I think with software features, one thing they might do is like maybe make some Nintendo Switch Online stuff exclusive, because they've been really expanding on that. You know? Yeah, they're like, all right, you get our version of Spotify.
Man, is Nintendo Music actually going to have an app on the Switch too? That is weird that it doesn't.
Yep, and honestly, like all they have to do for the music app to make it better, it's very simple. Put all the MP3s from the Smash Bros. Album, just put it.
Yep.
And then that's it. That's
easily. It's ridiculous how like they add one soundtrack per week. And I was like, there's no way they'll do one soundtrack per week. They're not that insane. It's like, oh yeah, no, one soundtrack per week. And this week it's Donkey Kong Country 3. It's like, well, damn, okay, I'm out. I am very curious to see the changes to NSO, specifically Nintendo Switch Online. You guys think we're gonna get like new consoles like this year and like specifically at launch? And if so, like what could even be added now?
I think wait, they haven't done GBA yet, right?
No, they have.
Oh, they have. Oh, DS then, I guess.
Oh my god, dude, I want DS so badly.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it without the touchscreen though.
That's the other thing.
And the Switch has a touchscreen, so they just have to incorporate that. But no, I don't think we get any consoles this year.
Yeah,
it's just not ready yet.
And with GameCube? Oh yeah.
No, not GameCube. They sell those at $60, buddy.
Yeah, 1,000-year door.
I think they want to focus on the Switch 2 titles and just getting that out before they focus on continuing to make, besides just adding more games and music to the existing stuff, before making that kind of new platforms and stuff. I think they focus on what's already there and then Switch 2 stuff.
That's fair, yeah. Moving into February, they don't have a game currently announced for that time. You guys think it's just going to be a very quiet month? They just kind of do press tours for the Switch 2, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's clearly that's not when this console's coming out. So yeah, I think it's just going to be a very quiet month for Nintendo as just a marketing like let's get ready for the Switch 2 as they announce a bunch of other things.
Yeah, and what's interesting about February for Nintendo, that's usually like February and September are like the 2 months where you're like almost guaranteed a Nintendo Direct each year. But now with Switch 2, this might be different where either they could, do their Switch 2 Direct at this time, but I think it's just gonna be like just some press releases talking with developers, and then we see some games that are eventually coming to Switch 2, like some third parties announcing it, and then we get a big thing later on.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you right there. Moving into March. So March is currently one of the rumored months for the release date. I don't personally subscribe to that because I feel like if it was going to be March, you would have revealed it by now.
Yep.
So yeah, nothing else. Oh wait, there is Xenoblade. Any of y'all picking it up?
Oh, for sure. It's kind of daunting though, because apparently it's like the longest Xenoblade. But I mean, that new trailer it actually had this week looked very good. I've never played Xenoblade X, so I'm pretty hyped.
Yeah, the interesting thing about X is that it was like stuck on Wii U and like really stuck on Wii U because you needed like a weird balance update or there was like a performance update that would help with the game's performance to actually make it run. And it legit was just like, oh yeah, without it, it doesn't work. And the Wii U eShop closed, so you would not have been able to download it anymore. So I'm very thankful for this version. So it's like, okay, thank God you're actually bringing this game back. And from what I've heard from people talking about it, it seems like they're adding a lot more to it than Donkey Kong Country Returns. So that's something. Jet, what about you?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about getting into a Xenoblade because of like several people around me actually are very much into the game.
You can say
yeah,
yeah, really.
Because of Bench, even my close like best friend since high school, he's very into these games, and I asked him like, oh, does Xenoblade X connect to any of the games? He said no, it's separate. So I could get into it with this one and like not play the main three. Yeah.
I think the thing with X though is that it's such a separate side story and it's very mecha based. If you're into mechs, maybe that's just the one that gets you in. I would personally just maybe start with one, but also Jet. I mean, come on, it's another JRPG. You don't got time for that. Play like Donkey Kong is right there. It's right around the corner.
That's true. I've had a year of JRPGs. I could just use some Donkey Kong to really
game you already played.
Yeah.
God bless you, Nintendo, releasing Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Moving into, I don't think there's going to be anything else coming out in March then. April, this is the current rumor, and honestly, I think I'm starting to subscribe to the April release date.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I think
Go ahead.
Because Nintendo doesn't have anything for April, so yeah, it almost makes sense that like they have these sporadic ports coming out, and they're probably going to coincide with, okay, we're not doing anything this month, so we're going to have the games release and then just have our news. So, like I said, Donkey Kong, then announce the Switch, then Xenoblade X comes out, and then release the new console. Now you got everything out.
Well, I'm curious if Metroid is this month, because that could be like either. I don't think it's this month, but I still think it's cross-gen.
Yeah,
so I'm very adamant about the fact that Metroid and Pokemon are both going to be cross-gen titles. Yeah. There's going to be a Switch 1 and a Switch 2 like box and everything. I'm very curious to see like kind of what the marketing cycle will be with those games of like, are they going to treat them more like Switch 1 games, or are they going to say, hey, it's on Switch 2 and like very quietly say it's also on Switch 1?
I think Pokemon is treated more of a Switch 2 game, but I think Metroid is treated as a Switch game.
Yeah, so I agree with that. And one thing, this is what this is what Game Freak did with Pokemon. I think it was Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, or Sun and Moon, where where this is at a time the new 3DS was out. And if you play it on the regular 3DS, the original tiny one, you're getting like 5 or 10 frames. But then the new 3DS, you're getting like 30 frames at a reasonable one. So I think it's gonna be something similar here.
Yeah, no, Game Freak is weird. They there was one time the 3DS launched in 2011, and they released Pokemon Black and White 2 in 2012 on regular DS.
Mhm.
So it was just like, they're not usually the ones that are like immediately like porting everything to Switch, whatever the next console is. So it does tell me like there is a possibility this comes out and it's just Switch 1 title. I just feel like because of how similar the hardware is for Switch 1 and Switch 2, they're like, just make it a Switch 2 version. You guys can definitely scale it up, especially with how much time has been spent on this type game.
I think there's a reason we haven't seen gameplay yet.
No?
I think the reason is... No, I think the reason is that they're waiting to show it on the best hardware possible. I think there's a reason we've only seen like that very brief trailer and absolutely no gameplay or anything was in it, and we haven't heard anything since. It's because they're waiting for something to be shown where they can talk about it more in depth.
I remember seeing people complain about that. It's like, guys, like after Scarlet and Violet, I was like, I don't want to see anything yet until it's ready. It is interesting. So I did forget to mention this for February. Pokemon Day is happening. They're going to have a presentation. Big shock. They always have a presentation. You'd have to imagine that's when we see Legends EA, right?
Yeah, because Switch 2 will be announced by then, so they'll be allowed to show it off.
Will be like a full-on like release date and everything, or they're going to maybe hold off?
We'll date it for November.
If it's actually within the next, like, before holiday, I would assume so. If it's holiday, they might just tease a, like, still 2025, but if it's before the holiday, they probably lock down a release date.
No, I think as long as it's 2025, they date it. I mean, they do that with Pokemon all the time.
Yeah, I've got another prediction. So in that Pokemon Direct, I think we're gonna see like some other Pokemon spin-off, like Pokken 2 is what I really want.
Oh, dude, I would kill for that.
Yeah.
I want like another Shadow Pokemon game, because they did a Coliseum and XD on GameCube. It's like, oh, dude, I'd love if they go back to that. Well, or say fuck it. Here's Pokemon Pinball again. It's like, hell yeah, dude, I'll pay that. I'll pay $60 for that. Fuck it.
Oh yeah. I don't need
Pokemon Pinball again. It's gonna be a mobile game.
Yeah, I know. Don't even say that. You're right.
Yeah.
What? What do we think the launch slate is?
Yeah, so that's the question. So we think it's April. Do we all agree it's April for Switch 2?
April, May sounds the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna immediately say I think 3D Mario is the big launch title for this thing.
I don't think it is.
Oh God, come on, Bench, don't do that to me.
I think it's Mario Kart.
See, that's the thing. I think Mario Kart's later in the year. You think it's gonna be an inverse?
If there is a Mario Kart, I think it's later in the year, and they want to bundle it with this console and have it around and have a bundle for the holidays, because they know that is a Christmas gift for the family kind of seller.
It's like a second. It's a second launch, basically.
I think Mario isn't as far out as the end of next year. Like, I think it's a month or two after the console launches. But I think they're launching Mario Kart. I think 3D Mario is like a June title.
See, my viewpoint is like 3D Mario and Mario Kart. Those are like the two like things you can intersperse where either it's going to be at launch or it's going to be the holiday title, because both of them are big enough to where they can carry a holiday by themselves.
But I don't think either of those are the holiday title.
You think Pokemon's the holiday?
I think the Pokemon's the holiday title, but I also think like I don't think they're really caring about what the holiday title is, because they're going to have everything there. People are gonna buy it no matter what, and especially if there's a new Mario and Mario Kart launched even 6 months earlier, they'll still buy those during the holiday. I don't think that's as big of a deal as it used to be.
You know, he may be onto something where maybe not a launch title, but like a summer title. And then what they do is they bundle it for the holiday. Like it's separate for all. They get the most money out of the people who buy the game and the console at launch or early. And then if you wait until the holiday, you can save a little money and get the bundle.
Yeah.
They kind of like the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle for the Switch that they did every single Christmas.
Yep.
So I'm thinking about it. I could see either way. And I was at first I was thinking it could be Metroid at launch, but Metroid's not big enough to be like a launch seller. So I'm gonna go with Wolf. And here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do what they do with the Switch one. They have a big title at launch, like
Breath of the Wild.
Zelda. Yeah, like Breath of the Wild. And then like literally a month later, they're gonna have their Mario Kart a month or two later as like their big.
You think it's gonna be like a 1-2 punch?
Yeah,
well, I think it's just that, but reversed.
Yeah,
interesting. I am so interested with you guys saying that because I just feel like it's like they want to kind of maybe spread the love a little bit.
Well, hear me out on this.
All right,
I think Switch 2 is going to be a lot more social hub platform. And I think they want to show that off day one. I don't think they want to wait a month or two for Mario Kart. I think they want Mario Kart at launch, and you can see improvements to online functions and social stuff.
Well, that's the
Day
thing.
one.
That's the
Make an
thing is
impact.
like there's a very big possibility that there's another. They make a new game for that, or like some type of game to run with it.
That could be like the rumored game from like the rumored playtest game as well. But I think Mario Kart is the easiest showcase of that, especially because they have that C button, and I think that's a social hub button. I think that brings up while you're playing a game, like you have like a PS hub bar that comes out whenever you press the PlayStation button. I think that's this equivalent for the new Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, but wouldn't that just be the home button for the Switch?
No, because I think that's going to take you home, and this button's going to bring up something, whether it be on the home or during a game. It's going to bring up like a bar where it's a ton of social stuff,
like a friends list type deal.
Friends list, invites, all those types of things. I'm not sure. I wouldn't bet on it having voice chat, but I think everything that other modern consoles have, it has, and then some Nintendo flair.
Yeah.
I do hope they very much improve like their online elements and like server wise, especially for like Smash. Oh god. Playing Smash online is a travesty. So any type of increase to that type of functionality, and if they put more focus on it, would be it just make more. Nintendo Switch Online is sold so much on its retro game catalog. It's like I want to see them sell it more based on its online functionality as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think
they will. I think that's a big. Well, social and software is a big push for Switch 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I've got another game, but that I'm thinking of that will release like after the 3D Mario. But I think we're gonna get to that right as we go later on to the year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll get through it. I do want to point out. I think they're gonna have a weird game at launch.
I was about to say, like, we're gonna get some goofy gimmick game that highlights whatever they want to highlight with the Switch 2, like the mouse or something.
We're gonna get the mouse, yeah. Dude, if it's Mario Paint, could they just bring that back? I 100% agree. I feel like they like those like weird gimmick games that like, hey, here's how the hardware works. I think they avoid the 1-2 switch branding, especially after everybody 1-2 switch. They're like, let's like kind of move away from that. Maybe just like a whole new IP, something like Snipper Clips or something. I don't know.
I think it's the playtest game.
See, I think I want to think that, but I just feel like it's
far enough along.
Yeah, because everything we saw, it was like pretty like early on. Everything like it looked like models basically.
So I could see this either being something like Switch Sports Resort, because I'm thinking like very casual. Casual games. So yeah, Switch Sports Resorts, or something like WarioWare, which is a perfect hub for mini games and using like the Switch gimmicks.
See, the thing is, like, we just got a WarioWare in 2023.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a little too early for that one. But a Switch Sports Resort, like something to the equivalent of like bringing that branding back, honestly, could very much be like the launch title along with whatever the big Mario game is. There's just a lot of avenues is basically what we're trying to say here.
Yeah. So what do we think May is?
May, I think
it's April.
So yeah, if it's April, May, what's it called? Nate the Hate recently said that he does believe Kirby Planet Robobot that's getting a reveal and release.
Yeah.
That seems to be kind of their big May title. It is weird to basically have a port be like after the Switch 2.
Well, the thing is, I have two things that I think are made, but I both think are next year. Well, I forgot one of them, but the one of them I think is I think the new Fire Emblem is this year. I'm not sure. That could be May. That could be July in that Three Houses window. Yeah, I think that could be either May or July, and I think the Zelda ports are this year.
Oh man, now you're asking too much.
No, because I think that's the only Zelda they're ready, and I think they might even look a little better on Switch 2 now that they've had time. But I think that they want a Zelda titles this year, and those are going to be the only ones you're going to get. And I think that's what we'll get.
See both of those. I think Fire Emblem, that is such a July title. Because Nintendo really loves utilizing that July spot for their like the Pikmin 4, the Fire Emblem. Like, hey, these games are big, but like not like our mega franchises. They did Xenoblade that month one time. Like that's a month they really appreciate for their kind of like medium-sized games. And Fire Emblem Genealogy, the Genealogy remake, I'd assume, because I think the new game is still probably a ways off. I do wonder about what was the second one you said?
Zelda ports.
Zelda ports. I do wonder if the fact that this is the Switch 2 launch year, maybe they try to move away from ports. I don't know. Maybe that's something they think about. I do very much like there has been a Zelda every year. You like to keep that. Mario
Kart was a port.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Okay, yeah, Zelda ports are this year then. I just feel like it's like these games feel like they're not real because they've been rumored for so goddamn long that it's like maybe they just aren't doing them.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, are the Zelda ports in the room with us right now?
I mean, you'd have to imagine they're like the only Zelda games that aren't playable on Switch right now. So I'm gonna say yes. Though I do think it's gonna be like a Switch 1 only game that just like slight improvements on Switch 2. That type of thing.
Yeah, but also like I think it's like the last two games kind of on Wii U. We're getting X, so I think those are going to come as well.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's like we've gotten pretty much every other Wii U game except Devil's Third. We need to try to get that eventually. Moving into, I'm just gonna say summer, June, July, August. There was a rumor. I don't know if you guys saw this. The Legend ZA had a leak for August. I don't really think that would be the case because why wouldn't you just wait till holiday? Is kind of my viewpoint.
I think that was just like it's happened before where some retailers just straight up make errors by inputting a date. That's like a really easy thing to do.
The August date was so specific.
Yeah.
Because usually when that happens,
do you subscribe to them?
31st, because if they think it's like a certain month, they'll put in the 31st of that month. But no, this was like what, August 18th or something like that.
I mean, do you subscribe to the August revealed or release date for that game, Moon?
Only if Nintendo was like so confident in their holiday lineup that they feel like you can put out Pokemon a little bit sooner because we're gonna have blankety blank like these two big games for the holiday. Like we don't need three big games to cannibalize our sales because people are only gonna buy one or two games with their new Switch 2. So if they feel like okay, we have Mario Kart and as something else, I don't know, as their holiday titles, they're like, okay, we'll give Pokemon a little bit of breathing room and put it in August because we don't have any other big things for that late summer. That's the only way I subscribe it. Otherwise, like, no, Pokemon's a holiday game because Pokemon is Pokemon.
Yeah, it sells no matter what.
But also, like we saw with Legends Arceus, it sold in January, right after the holiday, and 2 months after Diamond and Pearl remake. So I don't think they care that much for at least for Pokemon because it'll sell no matter when it comes out.
Well, I think with Legends Arceus, that was just kind of like a stinge thing of like Gen 9, they already had scheduled for like later that year, and like they had Brilliant Diamond earlier, so it's like, we can't really fit it anywhere else. Let's just release it in January.
Yeah, but it proved to them that it can sell at any time because it sold really well. So maybe they're confident enough and be like, yeah, okay, here's a little bit of a lull in our release schedule before the Switch 2 or before our big Switch 2 games. Let's throw Pokemon in there.
It seems like something they'd want to talk with Nintendo about. It's like, hey, let's try to like correlate a date, like what makes sense the most. So if there isn't anything else in August, maybe they try to fit Pokemon there. I have a couple of predictions for the summer. I have two specifically. I think you're gonna get your Prime 2 and 3 ports because spoiler, I think Prime 4 is September. That just makes sense. Kind of a big September title right before the calm before the storm type release. So they want to try to get Prime 2 and 3 on Switch beforehand. Maybe just like quick little eShop titles, $10, $15. Not to the level of remaster that Prime 1 got. And I think you're gonna get a casual game. And maybe this is me wishful thinking. I think it's Nintendogs. I think it's insane that Nintendogs hasn't come back yet. And I feel like it's like, this seems like the time for it to come back.
Yeah, I think it's a good summer game, and I really want this game to come back. Like, Rhythm Heaven, come on, Nintendo, please.
Rhythm Heaven, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, they could really do any type of like that's kind of why I say casual game in general. Just like something small. You release it during the summer, like that's going to get a shit ton of units, but like the hardcore aren't necessarily clamoring for.
Maybe we're going to get early predictions. We'll get at least one Switch 2 2026 title announced. I think in the presentation. But what is it? What is that announcement?
So are you trying to say wait. So at the Switch 2 presentation we'll get a 2026 game?
Not either that or like the Summer Direct.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously.
Because I think it's Smash.
If you want to get excitement, if you want to drum up a lot of hype, Smash would be it. Do you think it's ready?
Yeah, I mean it's been 6 to 7 years since Ultimate, and that's a longer gap than it was between Wii U and Ultimate. So
don't forget DLC. Sora was in 2021.
I mean, sure, but still, though, if it comes out and
the reason they did that was because, one, they wanted to go Switch with a bang because they wanted the Wii U to die as fast as possible.
But
yeah,
what was I going to say?
But I
think it was just because it's basically a remastered port. Like
exactly,
it's just a upgraded port on a technical standpoint.
I think it's holiday 2026, but I think they announced it pretty early.
That's the thing. It's like it almost feels like they want to announce it the same year they release it because it worked so well for Ultimate.
Yeah,
they didn't do that for Ultimate though, did they?
Yeah, they did.
It was announced in March of 2018 and released at December.
I still think it's a pretty because I think there's going to be more differences. I think it could be 2026 announced.
That's why it's probably going to be a while because if they do a new Smash, they're going to do something completely different with it. So that's going to take time to do.
And I think Sakurai said he submitted this project proposal 2022.
Yeah,
so that's what we think it's Smash.
Coming up on 3 years actually, because I think it was February.
Yeah.
So he's been working on whatever this is for 3 years now. Is it a new Smash or is it something completely different? That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
Jed, did you have something you were gonna say?
So for, I guess for Smash, it's very interesting now because where do you go from like one of the biggest games on Switch with like so many characters? Like, I think that if it's an enhanced port, I don't know if it'll be their big holiday game as much as it will just be like something they'd get out sooner in like the first quarter, like 2026. But yeah, it could also be Sakurai's very new game, Kid Icarus Uprising 2.
Oh my god, do you know how much money I'd pay for that? I don't think it is, just because the fact is like,
yeah,
I feel like they want to get the remaster first. I mean, that could be in production right now, that could release this year, but there was that recent news story about Bandai Namco canceling games, and there was like a project from Nintendo. It's possible that was it. So many strings in regards to just Kid Icarus alone, but Kid Icarus Uprising 2 would be that feels like a big passion project for Sakurai. I think my thing is like he wants to do this Smash because I think he always says it's his last Smash, but I think for sure whatever the next one is his last one because he wants to train someone else to take his position, and he wants to basically do one more game to take over that. Then he goes off and does his own like different types of games. I guess so. That's up for summer. I wanted to move into September. I think there's going to be a direct this month. They always have a direct this month. Gonna announce some 2026 games, show whatever like games we think are going to come out later. I have a big prediction for October, but I think this is the month we finally get Prime 4, as I alluded to earlier. And I do think that's Switch 1 and Switch 2, like kind of both consoles at the same time.
So here's what I'm thinking. I think that because one of the biggest games that was on Switch 2 that they smartly released over the summer, Splatoon 2. I think September is where we get Splatoon 4, just to really get those online audiences like playing, and that's the interesting thing with Nintendo, right? Like they always want to get all their genres across, like 3D Mario Kart. Those have the most appeal. But I think to get their multiplayer audience in is what they'd want to do.
I think Splatoon 4 is 2026 because I just think they need to innovate the gameplay a bit more after 3 games of kind of just being the same really good thing, but I think they do need to have a little bit of innovation. I think they know that. So I think they're going to take their time because it's still only been 3 years. So I think they'll wait until 2026. I think they'll have other social games loaded up and ready.
No, for sure. Splatoon definitely feels like it's just not ready yet. I mean, that 2022 for Splatoon 3 is just like you want to give them a little more time. And also,
Yeah.
I think they do Animal Crossing because it's the same team. So they finished Splatoon 3 and now they think they're like, okay, we're gonna move into the next Animal Crossing now.
That's also like utilize the big social feature if that is one.
Yep.
Yeah, that is true actually. Yeah.
Moving into October.
Arms 2.
Oh my god, dude! You know how much money I'd pay for Arms 2?
I
want to see them do it again.
I loved Arms, man. That was so good.
But moving into October, I have. Oh, sorry. Did you have something for September, Bench?
A third-party prediction for second half of 2025 is the new Bravely Default game. I think that'll come out and be.
Was 2021 or 2? I always forget.
Yes, and the director earlier last year said something would be announced in 2024, and it was not. So I'm thinking the silence is due to the fact that originally they thought they'd have the Switch 2 out, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I think they recently said they have big plans for this year as well. So
yep,
Bravely Default 3. That I actually would. Or wait, 3.
Yeah,
I always get all these like JRPG sequels confused. It's like, have they gone to 3 yet? Yeah, that's a good prediction. I actually very much see that. I have a prediction for October. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I think it's Luigi's Mansion 4. I think Next Level is ready. It's been about 3 years since Mario Strikers, and this is a much bigger franchise than we all expected. And I think Nintendo wants to have something like this kind of in that October timeframe.
I'd agree.
I'm so down for it. I played 2 HD last year. I was very into it. So yeah, I'm down for 4. But one thing I'm thinking about, Wolf, do you think at some point they bring Luigi's Mansion 1 onto the Switch?
You have to imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe, like that feels like a port that they do like maybe the next year or something. Just like, hey, we need a filler title. But like, God, dude, I would kill for Luigi's Mansion 1 on Switch because I love that game.
Oh yeah, same. Or even like with 3's graphics would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Do you guys have any more predictions for October specifically?
The only other
seems like a good one.
The only other one I think they could do, but this is probably 2026. I think we're gonna get some sort of Warriors game. Either Hyrule, Fire Emblem, or another franchise, Xenoblade.
Dude, please be another franchise. I'm so like we did 2 Zeldas, 2 Fire Emblems.
I think the Warriors game we'd get on Switch 2 would just be the new one. I think they just bring that over for the around launch time.
A Dynasty Warriors
Yeah, I think that would be the Warriors game this year.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like those type of Warriors games feel like they're much better as like summer alternatives, and I don't think I don't think they'd have one ready for like another launch in the summer this year.
Yeah.
Moving into November. So this is kind of like our big debate right now is like if November slot is Mario Kart, 3D Mario, or what was the other one? Pokemon. Maybe they do 2. I think it's actually very possible in November we get Mario Kart and we get Pokemon.
So I think they would no matter what, because like I said, the general audience will buy 1 to 2 games. So that's so they want to make sure they have 2 big titles there that are mass. So you're not going to get like a Metroid here.
Yeah,
I see no way that Mario Kart's this late in the year though. No way.
But see, my thing is like Mario Kart is such a like holiday title though, and like I know like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was in April of 2017, but it's like this is a brand new Mario Kart. I think they want to give it as much time as possible, and I think they want to give it the biggest stage possible, which is their holiday release schedule.
Which I think you could also argue for have it launch like either at launch with the console or maybe like a month later, and then do as you said, a second launch as you bundle it for the holidays. And then you do that like months later. So you release, let's say, the console in April, Mario Kart in May, and then in November, here's a Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart 9.
Yeah. You get like kind of a second launch.
My November prediction is the week before Thanksgiving is going to be Pokemon. But like the first week of November will be Zelda.
So
the ports?
Yeah, I think that'll be
okay. It was like a new Zelda game. It's like holy shit.
So what I'm thinking,
Go ahead, Jess.
So I was thinking about this. I think Pokemon's gonna be the holiday one, and then in December, just because it's like a bit of a different audience, I think early December is when we finally get Metroid Prime 4. If it's not September, yeah.
I see. My thing is like, I think it makes sense for a September release date. So it's like, hey, it's right before the holiday rush, but like it's getting a lot more eyes on it. Because if you put it in December, no one's gonna care.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but like, yeah, they've had heavy hitters for December. I mean, Smash was like their holiday game, and then Xenoblade 2.
Yeah, but Smash is an entirely different beast. It's
Yeah.
allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, December, I think we could skip. There's not much to be added there. But I will ask, just general 2024 and also third party. I mean, what are the big ports we're getting? Like, do you guys think like there's going to be like major Switch 2 ports where it's like, oh shit, they're like really like standing behind this thing?
I don't think it'll be games that are like 2025 games, but it'll be like some big games from the past couple of years.
I think
Baldur's Gate. Oh yeah,
Baldur's Gate, yeah.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, yeah. Elden Ring. I think that's like one that's been passed around a lot.
I think remake FF7 remake.
Yeah, that was Nate the Hate said it's coming to Switch too, so that's 100% coming on here. Same with Rebirth, but Rebirth is next year. Maybe they reveal it. I doubt that. I think they just wait.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about ports. It's like we talk about it. It's like, yeah, you can kind of get anything from the last few years. Like we're still like in that transitionary period. Somehow we're still in that transitionary period where like PS4 games are still like kind of like coming out. So you can release stuff around that scale pretty handily on the Switch too. And I think these companies definitely are looking at that. I saw a prediction about GTA 6. No, that's not that blow it up. All right, we're
gonna get the 7th re-release of GTA 5, and you will like it.
Oh damn right, I'm buying it again, baby.
GTA 5 on Switch 2. You know, get those kids gambling. Let's go.
Third party wise, I mean, Bench did bring up Team Asano with Bravely Default 3. Anything around that realm you guys expect as well? I can't
think of anything.
This is a weird one.
Yeah.
Jet? Ace Attorney?
Yeah. Ace Attorney. Yo,
do you think the new one's ready?
I think so because it's been in the Capcom leak and they've done every port that's possible.
Yeah, they've done everything.
So yeah,
we're at the point now.
Yeah. But one port that also just popped into my head really quick, because Persona 3 Reload didn't come on Switch, so I think it's gonna be on Switch too. Like, yeah.
Dude, wasn't that a big rumor that Persona 3 Reload was gonna be on Switch, and then it just never happened?
Yeah, like a retailer just made like a blank, like a spot on their store for it. That's where the rumor came from. Because I guess they just assumed it would be, and so they made a spot on their store for it. But of course, then it never actually came out.
Yeah. And I think, Atlas is probably gonna have it sooner, like within the first year or two, rather than waiting like till when, like 2022 for porting it everywhere. Yeah,
dude, that was weird when they waited so long for Persona 5. Like, no one cares enough anymore, man.
Yeah.
Is Overwatch 2 gonna be on Switch too? I'm just like rattling off games. God, that would be so funny and depressing.
I think, well, I guess same publisher, but like one that's for sure there. It's confirmed Call of Duty, right? Like Nintendo said they have a deal.
I don't know if that's this year though. I think it's not ready yet. They have said they're going to be on Switch though. It was a weird like headline because it was basically we're in an agreement.
I mean, I think another one I brought up earlier was Doom, but I could see Black Ops 6 make its way to Switch 2 this summer.
Yeah. Oh, kind of like a late port type deal.
Especially if this is more social hub stuff.
And also, like, that game is on PS4.
Huge. It's on PS4 for sure, yeah.
It's a lot of interesting games. I mean, I think that's pretty much everything we could have predicted. I mean, do you guys got any more like crazy off the wall things you want to shout out?
Do you guys think anything with Star Fox will happen?
No, that franchise is dead and it needs to stay dead.
Wait, which franchise?
Star Fox.
Oh,
I'm the biggest Star Fox hater in the world, man. I always gotta hear these Nintendo podcasts go, bring it back. You guys didn't buy Zero, okay? Granted, it was ass, but you didn't buy it.
Oh, I bought Zero. It was ass.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we don't need it. Let it die. Because Zero was just another remake of Star Fox 64, a game that was already remade. It's like, I'm sick of it. All right, we're done with Star Fox. But I think that's everything. Switch looking like a good year. I mean, what do you guys think of like the excitement going into this year for Nintendo?
11 out of 10.
Yeah,
Nintendo console. There's going to be a new Nintendo game every month until the end of the year.
That's such a good feeling.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No, I think it happens.
Man, that happens most years.
I don't think it'll be like big Nintendo games, but I think they'll have some big third-party releases in the middle there. But like actual big first-party Nintendo every month, no. But they'll have some partnerships.
I think that's what they did with Switch.
Well, but I think, Moon, you're thinking of it like a 3D Mario scale type thing. Like, nothing like that. But like basically like, hey, Splatoon this month, Fire Emblem this month, Arms 2 this month, something of the scale of those games, like the mid-range. Mm-hmm. So like bigger than an EMEO, basically, is what I'm thinking. Which honestly, yeah, that's exciting. I'm very excited for what we're gonna get. At the end of the day, I'm just getting a new 3D Mario. I don't really care about anything else. I'm very excited about that alone.
Yeah. And also a new Donkey Kong, right? That's been rumored to the 2.5D. Yeah.
See, my conspiracy with that game is I think that's basically the 3D Mario. It's like a 3D Mario and Donkey Kong like crossover.
Oh,
which I'd be into.
Yeah, and then Wolf, I think they'd have to do that launch to promote the parks because
exactly.
Yeah.
For Donkey Kong Country Returns HD as well, you gotta shout that out.
Yeah.
I think that's everything for our topic. We have exhausted all Nintendo talk for now. Hopefully, by the end of this week, we will be back in the podcast talking about the Switch 2. Or maybe the end of next month. Who knows with Nintendo. What we've been playing, we had a big holiday break, so we played a lot of games. I didn't really play much interesting, so I'll just hand it over to you guys and whatever you want to talk about.
I guess I'll start with Last of Us. I really enjoyed this game, and surprisingly, it looked good on Steam Deck. It around 30 frames, low settings, but honestly, you can't tell it's low. Like it looks pretty good for what it was. And oh man, the parts where this game hit so hard, and I really started to like feel for the characters. Like you guys know me, I'm very big on like games when there's a good compelling narrative. I want to get to know these characters, and I was happy getting to know Joel and Ellie throughout this game, and then feeling for like even some characters that you only get to know for like a good 10 minutes, and then seeing things happen to them, you're like, oh gosh. Because yeah, the Naughty Dog really cooked with them. Although, yeah, a 9.5 out of 10. I'll admit, like the only parts that I say were like that brought it down slightly. Like, yeah, sure, the gameplay was fun, simple, but like it was just like the same thing over and over again. And I thought the underwater was like only good. It wasn't like great or anything. Like come on, Ellie, just learn to swim. It's not.
Yeah, Last of Us 1's just such a classic. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
I've been playing Space Marine 2. Oh, I beat Space Marine 2, and it's definitely like the 8 out of 10 game that you'd kind of expect it to be. Very cool set pieces, very just cool, badass moments, kind of on the shorter side for a shooter campaign, which is good. But it also it's got a more basic gameplay loop that kind of gets old in the very long levels that Space Marine 2 has. So it's like good, but not great. And then I've been playing Dragon Age, and that just continues to be great. The game just gets better over time. I'm about 40 hours in now and just really trucking along and can't wait to get back to it and play more. Story's really evolving now. Had a really cool set piece moment earlier. Combat's great, so I'm enjoying myself.
Nice.
Moon, you've been playing Silent Hill 2?
Yeah, I beat it. It went longer than I thought I would, so I ended up playing like 5 hours straight last night till I actually beat it. And yeah, it was good time. I think overall I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I have no idea what's going on in that story at all, so I need some hour-long video essay to describe everything for me. But I like the simplicity in the combat. My biggest gripe, honestly, is just the boss fights. The boss fights did absolutely nothing for me. The designs of the enemies were cool, but the actual gameplay of them was bad, and I just hated not having a health bar because there were so many times that I was like, I'm down to my literal last bullet, and the boss died. I swear, I think there's a system in the game where it keeps track of your bullets, and they won't let you run out before the boss dies. Because I get down to my last like 2 bullets, and I finally kill the boss, and that happened like 3 times. But yeah, the performances were great. The visuals were really great. The puzzles were a lot of most of them. I hated some of the puzzles.
Wait, you didn't like turning the coins to figure out the Adam and Eve apple?
No.
I actually forgot what the puzzles were now that I think about it. I feel like I could have described any survival horror puzzle right there. I don't even know.
Yeah, any of those like 90s, early 2000s survival horror puzzles.
Yep.
I also did hate. It was like very late in the game. You go down to the basement of the hotel, and you literally don't have anything. You don't have your gun. You don't have your pipe. They just
they're freaking me out.
They for some reason made you get rid of everything so you can go down an elevator and then wander around this place to do another puzzle while avoiding the 2 enemies that were roaming around. Like, why? Why is this like this?
Because it's spooky, man. It's freaking you out.
I will say the prison was probably the most stress-inducing for me. I don't know what it was about the prison, but that got to me.
Yeah, it was like just really freaky and quiet, but also like just random noises coming in interstitially. And it was so dark.
Like, score soundtrack just ramped up for no reason at random times,
Yeah.
even though there were no enemies nearby. The only time I actually did get jump scared was once again was it the hotel? It was in the basement somewhere where you find Pyramid's Head's room, basically. I guess they call it his room.
Yeah.
I was walking around there and suddenly I turn around and there he is. Like, no,
so
preamble. And I'm like, I wasn't expecting you here. Like, it's one thing if it's just another random enemy I can shoot. Like, no, you can't kill this guy. You gotta run.
He's just an asshole, man.
And then I finally solved the puzzle, and I had to go all the way around to use those bolt cutters to cut through a chain link fence. You know, this big, massive enemy gets stopped by a chain link fence.
Hey, he respects you. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, good game.
It's awesome. No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's a really special game. I recommend watching some kind of video essays breaking down a lot of the symbolism of that game, because it's a very symbolism heavy game. So like if you really want to understand like what everything truly means, like that break it down.
I got a couple of them, like mostly the one with Angela. I got that. I never really fully understood Laura or Maria.
And I mean, I can't get into it without spoilers. Laura's one I still kind of struggle, but like you kind of learn about it. It's like, oh, that makes sense.
I also need to watch like all the other endings, because there's like 8 endings.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I got the Leave
They
one.
added a few too. Wait, which one did you get?
Leave.
Okay, good.
Which I don't know how you not get that one. It just seems just the flows the most.
It's basically like the normal ending. I think you can get the Maria ending if like you do a certain thing enough, but
that's what Beef did.
Yeah, God bless him.
which is
everything.
The Maria ending is the bad ending.
So I wanted to ask real quick. Do you guys remember them announcing DLC for this game?
I do.
I
remember.
I remember getting mad. It was like, it's gonna be Pyramid Head's origin or something like that.
Yeah,
is that still a thing?
I remember, the whole article about, we're giving Pyramid Head his origin story, and then you got all upset, like, no, Pyramid Head doesn't need an origin story. He doesn't have one here. At least not that I figured out.
Well, no, because the point is, like, you can't really give him an origin story is what I would kind of arguing.
Yeah.
I just love that. I completely forgot about this DLC. I'm looking it up now. Apparently, there's like nothing about this. So it's like, did we dream that? Did we never go over that? Because I swear we did.
I looked at it after the game.
Head thing.
Oh, so Ben, you found it? It's a thing?
No. How it like disappeared. No one's talking about it. Like it was announced, but now it's not the thing, I guess.
And maybe they canceled it. I don't know. That's so weird.
I mean, it does seem like Pyramid Head did have some kind of origin with the way he talked to him at the end, like his the line that he said at the end. But I don't need it anymore.
Yeah, something like that.
So I have no idea what the symbolism behind that is.
I gotta watch those videos, man. They're gonna help you out a lot. That's Silent Hill too. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Jay, you gonna get to that game?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to wait till when the Sony exclusivity deal is done.
Oh
because,
my god, I forgot it's on PS5. Oh wait, no, it's on PC.
On PC.
It's on PC.
Yeah, but it runs like shit on the deck. I heard.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the
Yeah.
case, yeah, maybe wait for an Xbox release.
Yeah.
So wait, so it's Silent Hill 2. Did we do everyone else's games? I had to leave for a second.
We did.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, thank you for watching yet another episode of A Slice of Gaming podcast, episode 80. Let's hope it doesn't immediately come outdated like the next day. So that's kind of our hope right now.
Well, actually, let's hope, because it'd be nice if it was.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I wouldn't be that upset. If you'd like to find us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, literally any podcast platform, you'll find us. Like the podcast, any type of support helps. And follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky. I think that's about it, though. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.